Speaking of this, Jingshu was a bit troubled. The U in the magic cube space gave birth to 7 piglets. Jingshu kept 1 male and 2 females in the villa, and kept 4 piglets in the space. The black pigs were a headache. As far as Jingshu knew, pigs usually gave birth to 5 to 8 piglets, but the black pigs in the magic cube space gave birth to 12 piglets. 2 were left in the villa, and there were 10 piglets in the space. The villa cannot raise too many livestock. Now they are small and can't see anything. When the cattle, sheep and pigs grow up, this place will be no good. Besides, it is difficult to raise people after the end of the world, let alone raising poultry. Although there is a room of feed, there is no need to worry about food in the early stage. The high temperature in the first year of the end of the world can also be cooled by air conditioning. Jingshu has also started to store water now. After a few months, the water shortage will be serious. People will be thirsty and die, so how can they care about the livestock? The livestock in the villa can still survive for a year, but these poultry will be difficult to raise in the future due to various natural disasters. Therefore, raising 10 edible pigs in the space is also a burden to the magic cube space. Jingshu decided to use some pigs and materials to pay off debts in half a year to reduce the burden. To be frank, 1 pig can be exchanged for a small BMW in half a year. No matter what, as long as Jingshu lends money, she will repay them in the future. At least they have to live well in the end times. Jingshu feels that she can be included in the trust list for being able to lend her so much money now. Now all kinds of dried meat, smoked meat, and braised meat have been made, and Jingshu's magic cube space will not induce labor. In order to accelerate reproduction and growth during this period, the spiritual springs produced by the magic cube space every day have been consumed. The end times are still long, and Jingshu has to save some spiritual springs. For poultry, Jingshu uniformly added Lingquan No. 5, 1 drop plus 2,000 milliliters water to their food. After more than a month of experiments, this number can play a role in strengthening the body, making the meat more delicious and the yield higher. It grows only a little faster than ordinary poultry, but eats the same food. This can reduce its reproduction speed and reduce the burden of the magic cube space. By the way, when I first started the Lingquan experiment, I left a rooster without taking in the Lingquan. As a result, it was pecked to death by an unknown chicken in less than half a month. Jingshu thought it was disliked by Hen No. Hen No. 1 took in the same No. 3 as Jingshu. It was the only exception. Now Jingshu takes it to the mountains every morning to deal with feces like walking a dog. And No. 1 did not disappoint Jingshu. It flapped its brown wings and followed Jingshu like a firebird. When Jingshu stopped, it rubbed its head against Jingshu's legs to act coquettishly. What? Other people's pets in the apocalypse are Tibetan Mastiffs and German Shepherds. These pets can kill enemies, act cute, and are very prestigious to take out. Mine is just an old hen. Jingshu had an inexplicable feeling. The only comfort was that No. 1 weighed 30 kilograms and looked extremely powerful. A few days ago, when he was jogging in the morning, he pecked a small snake on the side of the mountain and asked for a reward or a hug. Jingshu rewarded him with a mouthful of diluted spiritual spring. It is necessary to cultivate the habit of handing in good things from a young age. Jingshu planned to train No. 1 like a dog, issuing some simple commands such as sit down and hit it. I hope No. 1 can do it. For the Rubik's Cube space, Jingshu felt like she was playing a strategy game. How to maximize its energy efficiency with its limited resources is a test. For example, although the production capacity of the black field in the space is high, the land is limited. How much and what to plant can ensure that the family has enough food and feed the poultry well. By the way, we also have to take into account various fish, shrimps, and crabs. If the spiritual spring is consumed too much, it will waste food, and the poultry will reproduce faster, and the space field will not keep up with the rhythm. If the intake is too little, it will be useless. Jingshu's current magic cube space is a bit out of balance. She is only concerned with growing fruits, and the food for the lambs and pigs has become a problem. Fortunately, there is still a cow that produces milk. On the day of making spicy beef jerky, the popularity of the live broadcast room exceeded 500,000. Everyone was attracted by the courage of slaughtering a cow on the spot. Today, Jingshu's family taught netizens how to eat various parts of the cow. Beef neck meat is made into hand-beaten beef balls and frozen for freshness. It is very exciting to make hot pot and meatball soup. The back of the cow is the most tender meat. It is made into a top-quality steak. Jingshu fried it all and put it in the space as a midnight snack alone at night. The upper tenderloin is cut into thin slices and shabu-shabu beef. Jingshu's family made a beef hot pot at night. The buttocks are used for grilling, and the shoulder meat and big bones are boiled into broth and frozen. When eating, scoop a large spoonful of boiled noodles, put beef on it, and sprinkle some chopped green onions to make a delicious beef noodle dish. The pork belly is made into beef brisket and frozen in various ways. The shank meat is simmered over low heat and then marinated. It is sliced and dipped in sauce as a cold dish. The soft and chewy meat will linger in the mouth for a long time. The offal is handled and frozen in the same way as the mutton offal. The beef tripe and other things cannot be put away. The whole family eats hot pot in the evening. It is foreseeable that the meals for the next few days will be related to beef. Fortunately, since Jingnai came, she has really saved Jingshu's stomach. As Jingshu's appetite has increased, she eats double portions every time. At first, the family couldn't accept it, but later, their appetites became bigger unconsciously, so it was nothing. Can it only be attributed to being too tired after a day of hard work? The front breast and the remaining meat were made into spicy beef jerky, and 170 cans were packed in 2L sealed cans. Generally, the weight of a cow is no more than 1,000 kilograms, but the butcher said that Jingshu's cow looked similar, but in fact it was the strongest cow he had ever seen. The butcher wanted to use the cowhide as a reward, but was rejected. Jingshu still had a lot of use for the cowhide. Although her popularity was particularly high today, Jingshu was also hit with tens of thousands of rotten eggs because countless netizens were crying because of greed. In addition, the national event in the past few days was the harm and measures of the dark day, and netizens also wanted to store more food. As a result, Jingshu made so many delicious things, but only sold spicy beef jerky. Jingshu set a limit of 30 copies, which were quickly sold out. Jing's father happily went to mail them. I wonder if he will regret not selling more today when food is scarce in half a year. Now, the cows in the villa produce 50 kilograms of milk every day, which is a little higher than the best cows in the United States. In China, a cow produces 20 kilograms of milk a day. It can be said that the poultry nourished by the spiritual spring is too good. Jingshu took out the remaining milk from the past few days and started making yogurt lumps, milk tofu. There are two types of milk lumps. The soft ones are cheese, and the dry ones are milk lumps. The methods are similar, and they all need to be cooked slowly, over low heat. Today, Jingshu finally doesn't have to wash and chop anymore, but can quietly be a handsome man while making milk lumps. Dry milk lumps can be held in your hands at any time in the end of the world. In addition to licking them like lollipops, you can also chew them slowly. They are very durable and are simply the most nutritious dry food at present. However, before making milk lumps, Jingnai first made 10 2L sealed cans of milk skin, baked the milk over low heat, and stirred it constantly to evaporate the water slowly, concentrating the milk and condensing it into a round yellow milk cake at the bottom of the pot. Let it cool, and then can it be canned and refrigerated. Add some milk skin to the cooked milk and milk tea, and the cream will overflow with fragrance, crispy and delicious. Yogurt lumps are fermented in advance and then boiled. Ordinary ones can be boiled directly with some white vinegar. After that, they are put into gauze and filtered. The cheese is ready. The dried ones need to be pinched into pieces by hand and dried. The shelf life is very long. It will not change in 1 or 2 years, but it will become as hard as a stone. Dozens of pregnant women have reserved a portion of yogurt lumps. After drying, Jing's father will mail them to them, hoping that those pregnant mothers can take good care of the babies born in the end times. As of December 17th, Jingshu finally pickled all the vegetables, brine eggs, processed all kinds of meat, and made milk into milk lumps that can be stored for a long time. Jingshu was busy for more than a month and did not dare to stop. Now she can finally breathe a sigh of relief. In the evening, the family of 5 held a family meeting. First of all, they praised and encouraged the sales of 500,000 yuan in the past month, and then discussed the upcoming dark day and how everyone should deal with it. The dark day will have a huge impact on agriculture. These days, the news reports that farmers are rushing to harvest the last batch of winter grain. The country has enough grain, but vegetables are expected to be in short supply. At that time, prices will definitely rise and purchase restrictions will be imposed. At that time, most people thought that there was enough grain and that vegetables would be snapped up. After all, the national grain reserves were enough for the whole country to eat for 3 years, and the doomsday theory, which disturbs people's hearts, would be harmonized and seized and reformed as soon as it appeared. Even if a few middle-aged young people started a doomsday theory, on the one hand they lacked money, and on the other hand, purchases were restricted, so it would not come to fruition. Of course, there would always be a group of people who would hoard food crazily. But they never expected that even if they bought enough food and stayed at home thinking they could rest easy, the high temperature in the first year would rot countless food, and there were also people who died of heat and thirst. After finally surviving the first year, they were flooded again in the second year. The food was hoarded in vain. Yes, although the country has started to stockpile vegetables and fruits, and even every town and city has added greenhouse vegetable plants and encouraged us to grow some vegetables at home, there has been no sun for more than a month, which is a sin. It seems that the vegetables in the yard are not enough, and we still have to grow some vegetables in the greenhouse. This was the only time that Jing's father and Jing's grandfather did not disagree, and Jing Shu was moved to tears. Jing's mother nodded in approval. We still have to prepare more food, at least for half a year. The country said that we need to prepare about 2 months of food, and the Chinese people think that they are prepared for any eventuality, and basically they will prepare for half a year. In the previous life, Jing Shu's family prepared a year's worth of food, and they also distributed some to Su Mimi and her uncle's family in the early stage. Grandma Jing retorted, "No matter how much you stockpile, it will eventually run out. It still needs the water from the stream to last. We need to grow more vegetables." I heard from Jing Shu that something can be used as the sun, replacing sunlight. That's a pulsed xenon lamp, a simulated sunlight lamp. I installed a row of them in the pond because I was afraid there would be too little sunlight in winter. Let's go buy some more tomorrow and install them in the vegetable garden and greenhouse down below. I guarantee you can eat fresh vegetables every day, even on dark day. Jing Shu thought about it and told her plan. In the next few days, I have ordered various fruits from my friend to make canned and dried fruits. I also ordered a batch of mature fruit plants from him to be transplanted to the greenhouse. An apple tree and an apricot tree are planted at the door. There are also many fungi that do not need sunlight and can be grown in the living room. Our Jing Shu has really grown up. She has thought of everything and always comes out to supplement and summarize the work. Jing's father always feels that his caring daughter has suddenly become a little too mature in the past 2 months. She is too thoughtful in doing things, as if she has grown up by a dozen years. How can she not think about it? Jing Shu, who has lived a new life and has the soul of a 32-year-old Anne in her heart, had not bought rice, flour, oil, and grain in advance. Now there is a purchase limit. How long can the daily quota of 500 be used to buy enough food for the next few years? Not to mention the past month, all supplies have begun to be restricted. From December 18th, free vegetable seedlings will be distributed in all cities and towns. The way to receive them is as follows. Expert One will teach you which plants can be planted on dark days today. It is expected that the next few days will still be hot days. Several cases of heat stroke have occurred in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Guangdong, and other regions. We urge the general public to pay special attention. Fold a piece of toast in half, sandwich a sausage and a fried egg, and spread a layer of cheese and lettuce. Jing Shu watched the morning news and ate 3 slices of such sandwiches, a bowl of golden millet porridge, 2 boiled eggs, a plate of sweet and sour radish, and 2 fried steaks in one breath. Hiccup, the appetite seems to have increased, but the weight is still 104 pounds. Jingye drank 4 bowls of millet porridge, and his toothache made him unable to eat. Surprisingly, Jingye had a 3rd spring, and his lost teeth began to grow again. He went to the dentist, and the doctor could only say, "Well, your situation is very special." On Sunday, December 18th, Jingma had a rare rest. After breakfast, the family went to Aijia supermarket. The supplies on the shelves were still piled up like a mountain, and it felt like there were so many every day. Today, there are obviously fewer people coming. There are very few young people coming so early. Those who grab Master Kong in WeChat are all scammers. They are all old men and women who bring their granddaughters and grandsons to get rice. After getting it, they leave. After all, even if they want to store food, Fresh food with a short shelf life has to wait a few days to buy it, and the food with a long shelf life can be bought in the first 2 days. Jingshu's family came to get the subsidy for the 4th day in a row. It was the first time for Jing's mother to come. After taking the rice out of curiosity, everyone went shopping in the supermarket. Having money means being willful. Once a woman enters the supermarket, 9 oxen can't pull her back. Jing's father and Jing's grandfather pushed 2 shopping carts each. Jing's grandmother was more reserved. Jing's mother and Jingshu started a new round of large purchases. Jingshu felt that she could never buy enough, and she didn't go to check out until she had no more room. At this time, Jing's father's cell phone rang. After answering the phone, his face became strange. He looked at Jing and said, "Old Zhu invites you to dinner. Please go." "He is Zhu Jingqi's father, my former colleague." Jing raised her eyebrows. The previous moment, her eyebrows were beautiful, and the next moment, her eyes were cold. Realizing that Jing's father frowned, Jing restored her smile and said, "Okay, go. Then I'll tell him." After Zhu Jingqi's father agreed to have a meal at noon, Jing's father took the family to the drug wholesale center to get the medical insurance card. Jingshu explained that she was delayed in buying medicine last month because of the visit of her uncle's family and her aunt's family. Later, she mentioned this matter, saying that she brought medicine for her country neighbors. She was short of money at that time, so she withdrew the money from the medical insurance card. Jing's father also said that she would send it to the country neighbors as soon as possible. As a result, Jingshu was not short of money after this delay. "Anyway, bring the medicine to your aunts and uncles as soon as possible. You are a prodigal son. You buy so many things, and you are short of them. Look at the clothes you bought for a house on Double 12. Are you going to eat the clothes?" Jing's mother has had a severe headache recently. In the past, her daughter was like mud that could not be helped by the wall, and she was worried. Recently, her daughter has been stuck to the wall, and she is also worried. "I don't know what's wrong with my daughter. She likes to buy things room by room. She doesn't treat money as money at all. She won't stop until she spends all the money. I thought the shopping spree would end after Double 11, but in the past few days of Double 12, dozens of packages were delivered to the door every day." Jingshu bought all the underwear, outerwear, down jackets, and cotton trousers and cotton coats for the whole family to keep warm at -40 degrees Celsius. Jing's mother asked Jingshu at that time, "Why, do you want to take the whole family to Russia for a tour, so you bought such thick clothes? Isn't it buy one get one free?" The second generation of rich people must have a room full of good clothes. Someone said that the cloakroom was empty that day. It was obvious that he was a fake second generation. Jing's mother, "My own daughter, my own daughter." Jing's mother repeated it in her heart 3 times, and when she looked at her daughter again, she really liked her daughter much more. The money on the medical insurance card was all swiped, and Jingshu was satisfied to make up for a regret in her previous life. Seeing that there was still some time left, the family went to buy a lot of simulated sunlight lamps. Many people came to buy the lamps. The Science and Technology Channel also reported on this kind of lamp every day, encouraging citizens to grow their own crops and turn on the lamps. Now, the price of this lamp has increased by 30%. Jingshu quietly ordered 10 sets of bacterial solar energy invented by UBC. As expected, the price of this product has increased by 20%. They also launched a new small handheld and medium-sized convenient to carry. Jingshu ordered 20 sets, spending a total of 250,000 yuan. They will be delivered to Jingma tomorrow when she goes to work. Now I have to hide from Jingma when I buy anything, but I don't let them know what I buy. How can I explain it when I take it out in the end of the world? I really have to make up tens of thousands of lies to cover up one lie. The freezers and refrigerators in the mall are sold out. They are cheap and large in capacity, suitable for a few days of darkness. Now there are only commercial refrigerators left, and many people are rushing to buy them. In order to store more fresh vegetables, fruits, and foods with short shelf life, when the dark day comes, one refrigerator at home is not enough. It has to be said that everyone was well prepared at the beginning of the apocalypse, but unfortunately, electricity restrictions were imposed within a month. 6 months later, the daily power supply time was shortened to 2 hours, and many people died of heat stroke. A year later, it was shortened to half an hour. Jingshu sighed and went to the banquet with Jing's father. Jing's mother drove with the old couple to get bean sprouts, leek seedlings, chrysanthemum seedlings, lettuce seedlings, spinach seedlings, and garlic seedlings. These can be grown without sunlight. The country is now distributing them for free. Everyone can get them by face recognition and go home to grow them by themselves, reducing burdens and unnecessary expenses. After all, indoor vegetables and vegetables cultivated under lights will be expensive, and the price of vegetables will definitely rise if the supply is insufficient. The dim private room was filled with the smell of alcohol. When Jing's father pulled Jingshu over, a bald man with a big belly came up to greet them, showing a smile that was uglier than crying. "Brother, Jingshu is here. Please sit down." Jingshu prepared a kitchen knife in the space, ready at any time. Zhu Jingqi, who was full of vigor and good looks more than a month ago, is now extremely thin. He huddles in the corner of the box, drinking beer while checking the comments about him on his mobile phone. Sometimes he burst into tears. Sometimes he shook his head in denial. He read through the comments one by one like a possessed man. When he saw Jing's father and Jingshu coming, he looked up with hatred in his eyes, roaring, "You are satisfied. You are satisfied. Is this the result you want? Why didn't you say it earlier, when you are so capable? Why?" Jing's father subconsciously blocked Jingshu behind him. "Old Zhu, what's going on?" "These are all children's trivial matters, Jingshu. Zhu Jingqi came here to beg you. Please spare him and stop those things in Hebei. He has depression and he takes stimulants every time he has an attack. Taking too much of that stuff can kill people. Jingshu, please save him. He really can't stand those comments. Every day someone calls him, sends him messages, and leaves comments on his social circle to scold him. He wants to commit suicide several times because he can't stand it." Jingshu sneered. "If he can't stand it, can I? Besides, can't he hire hundreds of thousands of water soldiers? Let him hire them to whitewash himself." The corners of Lao Zhu's mouth twitched. No matter how many water soldiers he hires, it's useless. "Jingshu, how can we forgive him?" Jingshu snorted from her nose. "First, let him issue a statement to apologize for what he has done over the years, and apologize for defaming who he has hired water soldiers to smear people. Second, when asking for forgiveness, you should look like asking for forgiveness." Lao Zhu pulled Zhu Jingqi over, slapped Zhu Jingqi hard, and gritted his teeth and said, "No problem. Hurry up, ask Jingshu to forgive you." "Dad." Zhu Jingqi was unwilling. "Hurry up." Lao Zhu hit Zhu Jingqi hard again. Zhu Jingqi gritted his teeth and looked up, staring at Jingshu with red eyes. After a long while, he squeezed out a few words hoarsely. "Jingshu, please forgive me. I can't hear you clearly." Jingshu pursed her lips. Her eyes were still a little bit off. Sure enough, when Zhu Jingqi said this, his eyes were like spitting fire, and he could no longer suppress his hatred and stared at Jingshu fiercely. After being beaten by his father, he shouted, "Jingshu, please forgive me." "Okay, your eyes are very good, I like it. By the way, remember not to do to others what you don't want others to do to you." Jingshu's mouth corners raised. She liked the enemy looking at her helplessly like this. It was really beautiful. Jingshu once thought that she was a villain. Why did she do things that villains like to do? Naturally, she didn't eat lunch. Jing's father endured and didn't say anything until the two sides separated before asking what happened and how she bullied Zhu Jingqi. "Why did I bully him? It was obviously him who bullied me." Jingshu blinked. Looking at his miserable appearance, it's unlikely. Jing's father shook his head, his eyes dimming. "Forget it. I don't want to have anything to do with anyone from my former company anymore. Sometimes God is so cruel. The more you don't want to be associated with something, the more it will haunt you, just like Jing's father. But that's all for later." In the next few days, the whole family entered a busy life. Jing's father was responsible for planting a dwarf tree full of sugar heart apples in the front yard and transplanting an apricot tree full of small white apricots to the backyard. Are there still fruit trees sold together? Why are the roots of this tree wrapped around a cube? What do you know? This is high technology that can hang so many fruits on fruit trees. There will be fresh fruits to eat in the next month. Jing's teeth started to hurt as soon as he drooled. He didn't know when his teeth would grow out and how long he would have to hurt. It was really a sin. Jingshu held back her laughter and didn't say anything. This apple tree occupied her entire 1 cubic meter of land. The roots were so full that there was no place to grow, so they could only be lumped together. Jing's grandmother combed the land in the front yard again and planted the seedlings. Jing's father installed the lights, and Jing's father sorted out the mushroom bags and planted them in the living room. After more than 10 days, various mushrooms will grow. Jing's mother was responsible for setting up a grape trellis full of red grapes on the edge of the greenhouse. There were 3 rows of flower trellises in the middle, and each row of flower trellises had 6 layers. Then they transplanted the grown strawberries, tangerines, hawthorns, cherries, lychees, etc. Among them, the tree-grown fruits were all inserted into the soil with nutrient water, which was said to keep them fresh for a long time. Jingshu was responsible for making canned pears, cherries, oranges, lychees, and yellow peaches, dried fruits such as strawberries, pineapples, red dates, and grapes, dried persimmons and dried persimmon cakes, and pomegranates, watermelons, and oranges into 2L sealed cans and put them into the space so that they could be taken out and drunk whenever they wanted. Because there were many types of fruits and apples occupied 1 cubic meter of field, even if it took a month to plant and harvest 3 forks, the total amount was not much, so Jingshu closed the live broadcast and did not sell them outside and left a message in the live broadcast room. Wait until the dark day is over before broadcasting again. This separation may be 10 years, or it may be a lifetime. Everything that needed to be done was done, and the end of the world was about to come. Jingshu relaxed instead. This kind of relaxation was similar to the mentality of the eve of an exam, when all the preparations needed to be done were done, and everything was just waiting for the exam. I don't know if it was the change in mentality that made the Rubik's Cube, which had been practiced for nearly 2 months, finally undergo a qualitative change. Jingshu felt a sense of enlightenment. When she practiced the Rubik's Cube at night, she became faster and faster and more familiar with it. Jingshu's mind was flooded with ideas for the next step, or even the next 10 steps. As the colors became less and less, when the last twist formed 6 sides with the same color, Jingshu quickly pressed the timer. Ding. 95 seconds. Reached the level of a professional 9th Dan. Then Jingshu's head hurt, and she fainted again. The 5th-order Rubik's Cube in her hand was quickly reorganized and turned into a 6th-order Rubik's Cube, and Jingshu's Rubik's Cube space was officially upgraded from a 4-order Rubik's Cube to a 5x5x5 is equal to 125 cubic meters of 5-order Rubik's Cube space. She was awakened by the screams of Jing's father. Jingshu, who had slept on the floor all night, didn't care about anything else. When she ran to the yard, Jing's grandmother and Jing's grandfather were there. Jing's grandfather held a shovel and said, "Put your hand over here. I'll chop it unconscious." Jing's father used one hand to catch the fish with a net, and the other hand to shake the fish in his hand vigorously, but it was like it was stained with 520, and it wouldn't fall away. Jingshu took a closer look and found that her father was bitten by a crucian carp. This scene is a bit indescribable. Jing's grandfather chopped the fish many times with a shovel. The fish was dead, but still couldn't be pulled out. Jing's father's index finger bled a little. Jing's grandmother said distressfully to use a knife to cut it from the side. "Hey!" Jingshu covered her face. Although Jing's father was very pitiful, why was she not sad at all, and even wanted to laugh? In the end, Jingshu put some oil in the fish's mouth, put on a black bag, and put the fish into the space in an instant, and then released it to solve the problem that had stumped the family for several minutes. "I just wanted to catch something casually. Who would have thought that the fish I caught was so fierce?" Jing's father was a little scared. "Are all the fish in his fish pond piranhas? This is too dangerous. If you want to eat fish, I have to catch them. The fish in this pond are all wild and fierce," Jingshu said, stirring the net vigorously, and the fish scattered. Jingshu used the space to touch the net to catch some crayfish, and tied the bag with a snap. "Look how powerful this crayfish is. There are still fish in its claws. Let's eat crayfish for lunch." Okay, my grandson didn't eat so much food in vain. Jing's grandmother couldn't close her mouth with a smile. The old man likes to eat spicy crayfish, and every time he has to put the whole shrimp in his mouth and slurp it. How come I am not as good as my daughter? Jing's father went to put on a band-aid. Friends in the circle said that there is no sunshine on the dark day, and we need to supplement various vitamins. Should we go buy some? I have bought them all. Jingshu remembered the phenomenon that various vitamin supplements were sold out in various pharmacies in her previous life. Soon, there would be a rush for heat-clearing and heat-reducing supplements. The use of medical insurance cards would be restricted. In this life, she had done everything in advance. Jingshu finally had time to take a look at her space after the promotion. She was very excited. She didn't do it in her previous life, but it only took 2 months in this life. There was still 1 cubic meter of Lingquan in the middle, but it was connected to 12 pieces of black fields. The remaining space was 112 cubic meters. It can be said that the 5th level Rubik's Cube space is twice as large as the 4th level one. There are even 6 more black fields. Jingshu was instantly filled with various satisfaction. Taking advantage of the time, Jingshu sorted out her new 5th level Rubik's Cube space and replanned the supplies. 1 cubic meter of seeds, 3 cubic meters of chicken, duck, and quail eggs, 10 cubic meters of various dried fruits, 1 cubic meter of spare feed, 1 cubic meter of fish and insect feed, 1 cubic meter of bees, 1 cubic meter of bee water, 5 cubic meters of gasoline, 1 cubic meter of Haagen-Dazs, 1 cubic meter of cooked steak, 1 cube of juice, 1 cubic meter of beef jerky, rabbit cubes and various cooked meats, 1 cubic meter of self-defense kitchen knives, daily necessities and simple clothing, 5 cubic meters for 10 pigs, 8 cubic meters for 2 cows and 4 sheep, 4 cubic meters for chickens, 2 cubic meters for ducks, 1 cubic meter for quails, 1 cubic meter for rabbits, and 2 cubic meters for fish fry. In addition, Jingshu spent a day collecting 15 tons of mineral water in the space, occupying 15 cubic meters. If there's a problem with the filtration of the villa, this is the last life-saving water. It took 3 days to buy 10,000 liters of gasoline in batches, which occupied another 10 cubic meter. When Jingshu wanted to buy more, gasoline was also restricted and required an ID card. Most of the rice, flour, and oil in the house were put into the space to increase the shelf life, which took up 15 cubic meters. A total of 87 cubic meters were occupied, and 25 cubic meters of space were left. Jingshu also reorganized the black fields and continued to plant fruits in 4 cubic meters. She wanted to squeeze them into juice and freeze them to prepare for the scorching sun. The crushed pulp could be fed to pigs without wasting. 8 cubic meters were used to plant vegetables: tomatoes, eggplants, pumpkins, broad beans, sesame seeds, soybeans, etc. And they were prepared to slowly transplant some to the greenhouse in the early days of the apocalypse. In the blink of an eye, it was December 31st. The sun was blazing in the sky. This was the last day we could see the sun before the end of the world. Jingshu's family came to Ijia supermarket for the 17th day in a row. Since the day before yesterday, they had placed an S-shaped queuing barrier at the entrance. The parking area was crowded with people queuing. A few people came out and a few went in to maintain order in the supermarket and avoid causing chaos. Jingshu's family had been queuing for more than half an hour and still hadn't passed the security gate. Mom, don't get the rice. Let's go home. It's 30 degrees in the middle of winter. The sun is so strong and there's no air circulation. You see, several elderly people have already suffered from heat stroke. Jing's father wiped his sweat. There were people queuing around him. Fortunately, his daughter had foresight and brought 2 high stools for the elderly. People around him looked envious. This is the last day to get free rice. If you hold on a little longer, there will be air conditioning in the supermarket. Jing's grandmother was very energetic except for the heat. Jing's grandmother was very surprised. She could feel that her body was getting better and better. As for Jing's grandfather, he was chatting happily with a young man in his 20s. Grandpa Jing, I can talk to anyone for $5, but not to my son. Jingshu squeezed pomegranates in the space with her eyes closed. She held a large glass of refrigerated watermelon juice in her hand and kept sipping it with a straw. Jing's father said that he had been drinking it for half an hour and why he hadn't finished it yet. He was so greedy. Jingshu stuck out her tongue and handed it to Jing's father to finish it. 10 minutes later, the family passed the security check and entered the supermarket. There were crowds of people inside. It happened to be Saturday today, and almost all the family, young and old, were there. Some asked for prices, some chatted, and some cried for snacks. If they met acquaintances, they would chat for a while. The supermarket loudspeaker played a recording of leaving quickly after buying. At this moment, people's faces were still filled with relaxed smiles, thinking about buying more food on the last day to store up. After receiving the free rice, basically they would carry 5 or 6 bags of rice. With a grain quota of 500 yuan, you can buy 6 or 7 bags of 10 kilograms ordinary rice. For an ordinary family with vegetables and snacks, and occasionally ordering takeout, a bag of 10 kilograms rice will last for several months. For most people, buying 6 or 7 bags is not a problem for a year. But without side dishes and vegetable, fruit, and snacks, the grain will definitely be eaten very quickly. The supermarket has a sign. All items are available in unlimited quantities. It is very confident, but the price is not low. There are long queues in the pork, beef, and mutton area. The prices have been rising higher and higher these days. I am afraid that I can't afford it in a few days, so I want to buy a few more kilograms. The prices in the aquatic and seafood area have also risen a lot. After all, you can buy live ones and raise them for half a month and eat fresh at any time. In theory, the disappearance of sunlight for a month will have little impact on meat and aquatic products, but as the price of vegetables decreases and rises, the demand will naturally shift to meat and aquatic products and even side dishes and snacks. The demand for these categories has increased, and the prices have naturally risen. Snack foods have increased by about 10%, and instant noodles have increased by a few cents. There were more people in the vegetable area. Everyone bought in baskets, but no matter how much they took, they would be replenished in an instant. The country made preparations for several months in advance and cracked down on corruption for several months, just to prevent the Chinese from stockpiling food and encountering shortages, and then the merchants would drive up prices, causing chaos in the market, thus causing panic and collapse. It is better to relieve than to block. Chinese people like to stock up every time they encounter a disaster, right? So they stock up until they feel safe, until no matter how much they buy, there is still enough food as usual, and everyone will naturally feel at ease. There is only one warehouse for cabbage alone, and everyone buys it in sacks. Cabbage is delicious, can be stored for a long time, and is nutritious, so of course many people buy it. This is so cruel. A cabbage is sold for 12 yuan, and it was only 2 yuan before. Jingnai can't read, but at least she knows numbers. Don't they say that we can't drive up prices? Jingyi hears on the news every day that such things should be reported. Jing's father shook his head. The price of vegetables has gone up in the past 10 days. The daily increase in price is normal. It has increased by a few cents a day. It has increased. Wait and see, the price will be more expensive in a few days. 12 yuan is really cheap. In a few months, it will be hard to find a 1,000 yuan. After receiving the rice, they went around the supermarket again. First, there were too many people to check out, and they had to wait for a long time. Second, they found that there was nothing to buy. Jing Shu and her family went home to pack up things for Jing's grandmother and grandfather. The old couple went to Jinglai's third aunt's house for a few days. In fact, it was to separate Jing's father and grandfather for a period of time. The old people had all experienced the famine years. They called the 3 aunts a few days ago. Jing's grandmother asked them to store more food and order more vegetables to prevent disasters. If there is no snow in winter, the harvest next year will definitely not be good, and the price of food will rise. The eldest Aunt Jingpan said that she was in the town, and her family was also planting vegetables. She exchanged apples for a batch of food these days, and asked Jing's grandmother when she would go home to send some food. The second Aunt Jingzhao said that she also wanted to store more, but she was short of money. Grandma Jing and Grandpa Jing were very embarrassed with the hands-free mode on, and Jingshu's family was all there. After hanging up the phone, Jing's father asked Jingshu to transfer 100,000 yuan. There was no other way, as the money from Jing's father's withdrawal from the shares was borrowed by Jingshu to buy gasoline and other supplies. Third Aunt Jinglai stayed temporarily with her daughter in the 2-bedroom apartment in Wuqing. These days, she went shopping every day, saying that she also bought the share for Grandma Jing and Grandpa Jing, and let the old people live here. Grandma, you should come back to live for a few days. Okay, I'll help you start the live broadcast after the dark day is over. I've lived here for so long, and I have to go see your third aunt and your cousin Wu Yui. The old couple packed a simple luggage, took a few jars of pickles and canned food, and asked Jing's father to send the spicy beef jerky. Jingshu also packed some tortoise jelly mixed with diluted linquan for the old people, and asked them to eat a little every day. In this life, they are close, and linquan has changed the bodies of Grandma and Grandpa, so they will never die of hunger and injuries this time. Jingshu was the only one left in the empty villa, rocking on the lounge chair in front of the fish pond. Jing's father had set up a parasol. Jingshu drank shaved ice yogurt and basked in the sun. From time to time, she dropped the bait and watched the ferocious fish snatch the food. It was so comfortable. Maybe it was really the last time she would see the sun in this life. Jingshu felt a little disappointed. She lay there until the sun went down, and then she closed the tempered glass cover completely to prevent the rain tonight. She also took a lot of photos as a souvenir before cooking. Dinner was chicken stewed with mushrooms, braised kelp and black pork chops, and stir-fried lettuce. The portion was very large, and the family ate it all. Jing's mother was in a bad mood these days and went to bed early. It must be that Yukai and I made things difficult for her at work again, Jingshu thought. Jing's father freed his hands and put the pots and bowls into the automatic dishwasher. He would praise Jingshu for her thoughtfulness every day, otherwise it would be his job. After checking the water source, food, poultry, etc. for the last time, Jingshu began to practice the Rubik's Cube space all night. She really couldn't sleep. In this life, she wanted to witness the arrival of the end of the world. Later, people designated January 1st, 2223, the day when the sun disappeared, as the first day of the end of the world. Internet was also very lively for the first time. Most of the themes of the New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve parties were temporarily added to the hot topic of Dark Day. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Weibo and CCTV were still broadcasting live, predicting the scene of the collision of stars. Night owls were also excited to show off their own stored food, watching scientists brag that it was fortunate that the Earth was so far away, otherwise it would have been destroyed. At this moment, the Chinese people were full of security. There was no need to panic if there was food. Every household had stored a lot of food.
Boom.
The live broadcast picture finally changed. The stars collided as calculated. In fact, Jingshu didn't understand anything. She just watched the commentator jumping around excitedly, and the barrage of comments filled the screen with wow, wow, wow. Jingshu was a little confused. This was completely different from what she imagined. Jingshu couldn't sleep at first, but who knew that the scene of the collision of stars had magic? She fell asleep while watching it. When she woke up at 10 o'clock the next day, there was no sunlight outside. At this time in her previous life, she was still diligently broadcasting live and attracted many fans. According to reports, dust fell to varying degrees in various regions. In just one night, 3 to 5 centimeters of dust accumulated, and it is still falling. Citizens who go out are requested to wear masks to avoid inhaling it into the lungs and take corresponding measures. From January 1st, the amount of consumption of medical insurance cards will be limited. Citizens are requested to purchase vitamins and other healthcare products rationally. In some areas, dust carries industrial dust everywhere, causing various pollution. Many residents have reported to the higher authorities whether turbid and black water can be drunk. This matter is still under further investigation. It was a rare Sunday that Jing's mother did not go to work. The family watched the news and ate breakfast. Jing's mother went to feed the pigs, cattle, and sheep and clean up. The chicken coop was hot and simmering. Jing's mother quickly turned on the air conditioner and set the temperature of the whole villa to 26 degrees Celsius. Jing's father had to climb the ladder to sweep the soil from the tempered glass cover. The tempered glass cover was covered with a thick layer of soil, making the originally dim villa even darker. Fortunately, the tempered glass covers the entire villa, otherwise the whole villa would be covered with soil. Jing's mother couldn't imagine how dirty it would be. Thinking of this, the tempered glass that was made for the sake of style was somewhat useful. That's right, no one expected that there would be dust. The dust particles produced by the collision of stars not only covered the atmosphere, but also leaked a lot, causing the dust phenomenon, which will continue for a long time. The news said that the Earth would cool down when the sun was blocked. It did cool down, but it dropped to a few degrees at night, and it rose wildly during the day. Wuchang was 35 degrees Celsius, Hainan was nearly 50 degrees Celsius, and Guangdong, Fujian, Sichuan, and Shu were all 40 degrees Celsius. This is completely like summer. Jingshu wore sports short-sleeved pants, a layer of windproof clothes and pants tucked into rain boots, a double-layer mask, and a hat to go out to deal with feces, and let number one out for a walk. When you step on it, there is thick accumulated soil. It is clearly daytime, but it is dim and you can't see people and objects clearly. There are only a few lights on in the large community. The community and the road in the distance are all on streetlights. When you get closer, there are dense mosquitoes and dust particles falling under the lights. It is the first month of the end of the world that you can turn on the streetlights so luxuriously. The fighting chicken ran away as excitedly as the husky, flapping its wings to start running and pecking at mosquitoes. Now Jingshu called its name, and it understood and ran back quickly. There were so many insects on the mountainside that they came out of nowhere, and their calls were creepy. The fighting chicken was in heaven and pecking at the insects like crazy. After dealing with the feces and running for a while, Jingshu felt too hot. It seemed that even if she drank a lot of spiritual spring water, it would not prevent heat and cold. She hurried home to take a bath. The water now is all yellow soil. How can it be drunk? The mineral water in the small supermarket at the door is sold out again. Don't you really want to buy more water together? A middle-aged woman in her 50s stood at the door of the villa, covering her mouth and nose with a wet towel to prevent dust, and wrapped a towel on her head. I won't go for the time being. Jing's father also wore a mask and shoveled the thick soil to the side, panting. His spendthrift daughter spent 200,000 yuan to get a water filtration system to learn American style, so why would he buy water? Look at the video my brother sent. All the supermarkets in the city are scrambling for water. Many supermarkets are out of water. Who knows when this mud will stop falling? You should at least buy enough water for a week. It's at Aijia's supermarket. The aunt was anxious. I'm really not going for now. If you can't get a ride, I'll call one for you. The aunt quickly refused. Forget it, I'll ask someone else if there's a ride. How much does it cost to take a ride back and forth? She ran away in a flash. Jingshu looked at the back and said, Are you here to get a ride? Jing's father nodded with dust all over his body. You saw that our lights were on, so let's go buy water together. Let's go, it's all done. I'm going to take a shower. Dad, you should clean the mud off the filter head every day, otherwise it will be blocked. Got it. So Jing's father cleaned the mud off the pipe outside the villa for half an hour before cleaning it up. When will this be finished? Look how hypocritical people are in the early days of the end of the world. The water mixed with soil is just a little bit hard to drink, but Jingshu thinks it is at least much better than the red nematode water next year, really. After taking a sip, many worm heads are entangled in the teeth, and the tails of the worms are stuck in the throat. Do you bite them off and swallow them, or pull them out and chew them before swallowing? In her previous life, Jingshu pulled the worms out of her teeth and chewed them 28 times before swallowing them to increase her sense of fullness. In this life, Jingshu doesn't want to try again. Although Jingshu's tempered glass cover covers the entire villa and blocks dust, it has a disadvantage that it absorbs heat and is not breathable. The villa is like a steamer. Jingshu uses buckets of ice from a commercial ice maker and places them in various places in the villa to cool down. She changes them every 2 hours, and it feels much better. By the way, she also makes more ice and shaves it into pieces. She makes yogurt from the milk that has been stored for half a month and puts it in the space. She adds sugar and crushed ice to make yogurt shaved ice, which is sour, sweet, and cool. By the way, Jingshu also checked the solar power generation of UBC today. In this case, some electricity was still generated and stored. Jingshu was very relieved. According to the current situation of the villa turning on the lights for at least 8 hours, various electrical appliances, solar light, central air conditioning, and other electricity consumption. At least 40 kilowatt-hours of electricity is needed every day, and the monthly electricity bill is more than 800 yuan, which is more than 3 times that of an ordinary family. 10 UBC solar energy units can generate more than 30 kilowatt-hours of electricity every day in this dim situation, which is barely enough. If it is not enough, a gasoline generator can be used, and 1 liter of oil per day is definitely enough. The expert on the evening news came out to explain. Water mixed with soil can be drunk. There is no problem at all. It is recommended that you let the water settle for a few minutes after receiving it. Change the container and settle it a few more times. Then you can boil the water and drink it safely. However, the problem of grabbing water has not been properly solved. Then it entered the high-temperature orange alert, and many areas have suffered serious heat stroke and death. Someone also died in Jingshu's community, and Jingshu knew the person. They were the old lady and her husband who wanted to get a ride to buy water a few days ago. It was already pitch black at 7 or 8 in the evening. You couldn't see your hand in front of you. There was no moon or stars. The temperature dropped to 6 degrees Celsius. The police car sounded the alarm. Jingshu's family had just finished dinner when they heard the noise. They put on their coats, windbreakers, masks, and hats before going out to see what happened. There were more and more types of flying insects under the street lights, buzzing nonstop. When Jingshu's family arrived, there were already 5 or 6 security guards standing here and 6 or 7 nearby residents, as well as police and forensic doctors. The old lady, who wanted to get a ride that day, and her husband were lying on the bed wrapped in thick quilts. The corpse had rotted and had many maggots. There were also flies crawling up and down to lay eggs. It seemed that a batch of maggots had hatched. The whole house exuded an unpleasant corpse smell. Jing's mother hid in Jing's father's arms out of fear. Jing's father subconsciously covered Jing's mother's eyes. Then they remembered that they had a daughter. Maybe they were the true love, and Jingshu was just an accident. But Jingshu not only looked at the body calmly, but also had an urge to study it. She heard a neighbor's aunt introduce the story. I smelled this disgusting smell for 2 days in a row. I couldn't stand it, so I told the security guard. Later, the security guard found the smell coming from their house. I pried open the door and saw that it was like this. The forensic doctor carefully examined the body with gloves, pointing to the air conditioner that was not turned on, and said, "The temperature difference between day and night is large. The temperature dropped to below 0 at night. They may not turn on the air conditioner to save electricity, but covered the quilt and closed the window. At 6 or 7 in the morning, it rose to 40 degrees Celsius again. The high temperature plus lack of water caused heat stroke, and the air was not circulated and suffocated. It would be better to set up a constant temperature air conditioner. There have been more than a dozen such deaths in the city." The forensic doctor is used to it. The aunt hitched a car everywhere to save the money for the ride and the money for the air conditioner, but she didn't expect to end up like this. The medical examiner took a few photos, and the police wrapped the man in a body bag and took him away, leaving 2 staff members to disinfect and deal with the aftermath. "Hello, are you the new neighbors? I'm Wang Qiqi from Building 13. I've created a community group with more than 60 members. Would you like to join us so we can discuss anything?" said the dark-skinned young man in his 30s enthusiastically. Jingshu and her father joined the group. Jingshu wanted to ask, "Do you have a brother named Wang Baba? Which building are you from?" For convenience, everyone should note the building number, but not the specific unit floor. In the villa area. Wang Qiqi looked at the family with some surprise, and then quickly made a note for Jingshu and the others, saying, "There are very few people living in the villa area now, and the location is also more remote. If there is anything, please let us know in the group at any time, and everyone will help if they can." "Okay, thank you for your help. Don't be polite, they are all neighbors. You can check the notice. There are phone numbers for delivery men, water delivery men, sports cars, supermarkets, etc. If you have anything to add, you can tell me." Wang Qiqi went to find the aunt who had just spoken, and a few people who were watching the fun, and even pulled the security guard into the group to write a note. After a while, the group leader Wang Qiqi added everyone, recounted the incident of the aunt and uncle's tragic death at home, and reminded everyone not to save electricity, set the air conditioner to constant temperature, and buy one if they don't have one. Young master, I have a baby, building 13. Fuck, I'm so scared. I just turned on the air conditioner. Wang Xuemei, building 2. If anyone in the group is selling air conditioners or has a phone number for someone who sells air conditioners, please give me your phone number. There are few air conditioners in the north and no heating in the south. Due to the high temperature during the day, the temperature drop at night, and the less water, air conditioners, refrigerators, and water purifiers are sold out nationwide. Second-hand fans in the electrical mall are all sold out. Online orders are scheduled for 2 months later, and scalpers can deliver to your door within 3 days at a high price. The chaos at the beginning of the end of the world began from here. The dust has been falling for more than a week. Snowplows are used to clean the dirt on the streets and roads. If there is no snowplow, it is swept manually. Primary schools and kindergartens continue to be suspended. Middle school and high school students and various units have been assigned their own areas for sweeping the dirt. If they are not swept for a day, a thick layer will accumulate, and the wind will blow the dust all over the sky. There are many people in the hospital who have heat stroke and pneumoconiosis, and various dissatisfactions have also exploded on the internet. You are kidding me. I have been sweeping snow in the north for more than 10 years, and now I have to sweep dirt every day. Sweeping dirt is good. Eating dirt is uncomfortable. Everything I eat, use, and live in is covered with dirt. I can't prevent it no matter what I do. Even the bath water is dirt. You are all good. The reservoirs here are filled with dirt and blocked by silt. Now the water is cut off. We rely on water trucks every day. Our rivers are filled with dirt, and people line up every day to buy mineral water. Soil water is also fine. Due to the alternation of high and low temperatures, air conditioners are turned on 24 hours a day, and the power consumption exceeds the load, resulting in power outages and circuit burns. In some areas, rivers and reservoirs are filled with dirt, and when they encounter ultra-high temperatures during the day, they are dry. Many lakes and reservoirs are dropping at a rate of several centimeters every day, and the country has also launched various remedial measures. Every day, the internet exposes news that reservoirs have become mud reservoirs and mineral water companies have to stop production, which has further aggravated the situation of everyone scrambling for mineral water. The price of a bottle of mineral water has also risen to 10 yuan, and various beverages are even more expensive. Supermarkets have plenty of food, but the first to be out of stock are water and beverages. No one expected this. Water plants across the country began filtering water 24 hours a day to speed up production. Water trucks were used to transport water when reservoirs were blocked. People were also called on to save water. If there is water in the tap, just use it. It's good to have water. Don't be picky. One wave has not settled before another wave has risen. The problems of soil and water have not been solved. Some areas have entered an ultra-high temperature of nearly 50 degrees Celsius, and there has been an outbreak of plague in which chickens, pigs, and cattle died of heat. There have been tens of thousands of deaths from heat stroke, with the highest number of deaths in the north. On the contrary, the hottest south, Guangdong, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Sichuan, have the least number of deaths. I heard that they are used to high temperatures and are more durable. Half of the north has suspended classes and work, while the southern Magic City is still working normally. The police, doctors, and government will definitely not stop working. Jing's mother worked continuously in her previous life, which led to the subsequent heat stroke. Mom, the refrigerated mung bean soup is in the cold and warm cup, the cold cucumber and boiled chicken are in the heat-insulated box, and you must eat the tortoise jelly. Jing Shu handed over the small box. In this life, she still couldn't stand the persistent Jing Ma going to work, but with Lingquan thinking that heat stroke is not so easy. Eat less chicken, duck, and pork. There is an epidemic in the south. The big pot rice at Jing's mother's workplace at noon was full of sand. The rice had to be swallowed directly, not chewed. Jing's mother broke her teeth while eating the big pot rice, so Jing decided to make it herself and bring it to her. This had never happened before in her previous life. Aren't they domesticated? Our poultry doesn't come into contact with the outside world, and it's fine as long as ventilation and temperature are maintained. When Grandpa comes, I have to work with Dad to change the chicken coop to a double-layer one. Otherwise, it's too small.
I see.
Although some farms process poultry in accordance with regulations and qualified operations, more farms make these, river crab, meat into various braised meats, air-dried meats, etc., and sell them. Jing's father wanted to vomit when he thought of the countless unprocessed chickens and ducks floating in the black water in the big boiler. In fact, it's good to have some to eat. Now that poultry is dying on a large scale due to heat, that's not serious. It won't be serious if the poultry that can't be processed for 2 or 3 months is piled up and rotten corpses and various rotten insects and maggots burst out. Not eating meat in the early stage, relying on maggots in the later stage, hypocritical. I don't dare to eat poultry meat outside now. Vegetable prices have risen a lot and grain prices have also risen. I hope this dark day will end in a dozen days. We can relax. Jing's mother said with a headache. The dark day may not end. The end of the world has just begun, but no one has realized it. After sending Jing's mother away to work, Jing Shu took a pen to record what happened in the first year of the end of the world in her mind to make corresponding preparations. The main reason is that 10 years have passed, and Jing Shu has forgotten some things. In the first month of the end of the world in the previous life, Jing Shu was at home with air conditioning on and doing live broadcasts. Jing's father and Jing's mother went to work as usual. Half of the water in Wuqing was muddy. Jing's father used his connections to buy a batch of mineral water at a high price, but unfortunately he gave away a small half, resulting in insufficient water later. It is now January 14th. In a few days, due to the high temperature, the fish in the river will die and float, completely polluting the water source. When it reaches 1 month, the power supply will be restricted, and it will be difficult to refuel. After 1.5 months, the water supply was cut off. Water was used by water trucks, and each family was limited. The dark days of nearly 2 months have not passed. Everyone has entered a sense of crisis and started to store more food. However, as the power supply time continues to decrease, the weather becomes hotter, and there is a shortage of water, restrictions on buying food, and a reduction in supplies. Within a few months, a group of people killed people in the dark 6 months. Jingshu bit her pen, so the current shortcoming is the absolute force value. She has become much stronger through the spiritual spring. One punch can definitely knock down an adult, but the master was beaten to death by random punches, let alone her who has no basics.
She
wrote down the plan quickly. At least before the dark 6 months come, she must get the wooden warehouse, and she must also prepare the mechanism in the villa. Prevent various surprise attacks, and be sure to be foolproof at any time to save her life. No matter what weapon the opponent uses, she must ensure that she is protected and has the ability to fight back in an instant to prevent the tragedy of the previous life. Jingshu's only bargaining chip is the absolute control of the Rubik's Cube space, so how can she use the Rubik's Cube space to save her life? Beep beep. The message from the owner group interrupted Jingshu's thoughts. Supermarket boss buy. At everyone, I bought a batch of mineral water, 20 yuan per bottle. Leave a message and tell me your building number, I will send it to you. Young lady, I have a baby number 13. Boss buy still has a channel to get water. Amazing. What brand is it so expensive? Supermarket boss buy. Locally produced. Then the group began to scramble for water. Now the big supermarkets limit the amount of water each person can buy, but the new water that arrives every day is still snapped up in a short time. The purified water produced by major water plants can't keep up with the consumption of the people. It's really the tap water. There is too much sand and soil, and it must not be installed with a single filter. You have to install 6 filters like Jingshu did. It's okay to use soil for domestic water, but no matter how you precipitate the drinking water, it's full of sand and soil, which makes many people unbearable, resulting in the current scarcity of mineral water. Jingshu remembered that in the early days, some people used industrial filtered water to make money, put it into mineral water bottles and sold it through small businesses. Many people drank it and had diarrhea and metal poisoning. Those with poor physical fitness went straight to their ancestors, which was more serious than eating hot chicken. After searching online, I found that a lot of locally produced water is industrially filtered water. I took a screenshot and sent it to the owners group to remind everyone to check it before purchasing. Supermarket boss buy. At Xiaoshu Villa District, what are you talking about if you don't buy anything? I used my connections to buy the goods at 19 yuan a bottle, and I earned 1 yuan through hard work. You posted this kind of picture to compare me with the small vendors who make huge profits. What's the point? Luxury car store number 5. Boss, don't pay attention to her. Hurry up and send us water. Luo Hao number 13. That's right, the Villa District is amazing. Foam number 3. Local products are still so expensive. It shouldn't be industrial filtered water. Can it be cheaper? Young lady, I have a baby number 13. Xiaoxu reminded me well. I have a baby and can't take the risk. I don't want the water. Then a few more people didn't want it, and the supermarket owner was so angry that he said, at Xiaoshu Villa District, I will remember you. Don't come to buy water or things in the future. Wang Chichi number 13. Okay, everyone, don't quarrel. At Xiaoshu Villa District reminded you right. Everyone should check before buying things. The group became much quieter. Jingshu was just kindly reminding her, not like a saint to stop them from going to die. It's good enough to take care of themselves in the end times. After a while, Jing's father also saw the group message. Jing'an Villa District. At Supermarket Boss Bai, is the small supermarket at the entrance of the community yours? Smile. Supermarket Boss Bai. Yes, you want water? Jing'an Villa District. Okay, got it. Smile, smile. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the temperature in Wuqing was as high as 49 degrees Celsius. Jingshu sat in the lobby of Jayli, enjoying the air conditioning and drinking refrigerated orange juice, ignoring the drooling eyes of the people around her. So you knew in advance that the supermarket owner was selling industrial water and reminded the members of the owner group, but you were insulted by the supermarket owner. Your father went to the supermarket owner to argue and questioned him why he was selling industrial water, which caused a conflict. Your father was protecting himself normally, right? The staff confirmed again. Jingshu nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. The truth of the matter was that her father suddenly went to the supermarket and beat the supermarket owner so hard that he couldn't take care of himself. Then the supermarket owner's wife called the police. When the police came and prepared to arrest Jing's father, Jingshu came to the rescue. The neighbor named Luo Hao drank the water and was poisoned by metal soon after. He sent a voice message for help in the group, and everyone knew that the supermarket owner was selling industrial water. Jingshu took the opportunity to discuss with Jing's father. You did a great job. We will severely punish those who sell industrial water at high prices. We will confiscate all his materials and conduct labor reform. In view of your courageous behavior, this will be recorded in your file. You can rest for a while and wait for your father to come out. The staff saluted and took the pen to record it. Jingshu quickly returned the salute, but accidentally raised it over her head, and it became a young pioneer salute. I'm a little excited. There are more than a dozen desks and chairs arranged here, supporting more than a dozen fights, disputes, and thieves to deal with together. The arrival of the dark day has increased the number of thieves in Wuqing recently. There are several thieves standing next to them who are locked in front of the desks, and there are also couples fighting and those who took advantage of the chaos to do bad things. The reason why Jingshu was excited was that she saw 2 very heavy giant safes embedded in the wall, commonly known as wooden warehouse safes, and there were special duty officers next to them. China is not like foreign countries. After the end of the world, various science fiction movies are played every day. In China, anyway, Jingshu, who lived for 32 years in her previous life, has never seen ordinary people with wooden warehouses. If the end of the world in foreign countries is the Game of Thrones and the hard weapons are compared, then the end of the world in China is a battle of farm tools, all kinds of shovels, kitchen knives, hoes, and groups of people who learn from young and dangerous, and the level is not a little bit low, covering face. In TV novels, the equipment warehouse is easily robbed soon after the end of the world. Well, Jingshu has never succeeded. First, the end of the world does not come suddenly, but is slowly eaten away by the frog in the boiling water. When you find out, The end of the world is too late, and there is no sudden collapse of the social system. Second, those who are too small are all giving away their heads. Third, even if the equipment warehouse is in front of you, you can't break the safe without knowing the password. The strong safe will be directly locked, and you can't pry it open or smash it. It's really a pile of iron lumps. Fourth, even if you know the password, you need 3 passwords such as network authorization, on-site authorization, and verification to open the safe, just like the bank needs network authorization to transfer more than $500,000. Even if you overcome all difficulties and open a safe. But the warehouse and bullets are separate. There are bullets but no warehouse, or there is a warehouse but no bullets. You choose one. It is really difficult to have weapons in China. Jingshu has been trying to find a way. Unexpectedly, by chance today, she really touched the safe and could stand next to it openly. Otherwise, you can try standing next to this safe suddenly. I'll beat you into a sieve. How could Jingshu not be excited? Standing on the side of the 2 cabinets, Jingshu sent a voice message to Jingma while using the characteristics of the Rubik's Cube space. It can store items that touch items, that is, touch the items in the safe storage channel, and the safe will not make any abnormal noise. Yes, it works. The safe is tall and heavy, with about dozens of weapons in it. The more advanced ones should be in a more rigorous equipment warehouse. Jingshu quickly took the 2 unnumbered hand compartments to delay the possibility of being discovered, and then found bullets in another safe and quickly loaded some of them. The whole process took less than 5 seconds. Please go to another place to call. The attendant waved his hand to prevent people from approaching. Sorry. Jingshu slipped away and almost saluted again. Using the Rubik's Cube space to steal things may be the most absurd golden finger in history, but in order to save her life in the future, Jingshu still did it, and she would practice well after returning to increase her trump cards in the future. After a while, Jing's father came out after recording the statement. He scratched his head helplessly. I can't control myself when I get excited. The young Zhaoyun shook hands with Jing's father and joked, remember not to hit him in the face next time. His face is so swollen that I can't hear what he said. I had to guess. Of course. Okay. Thanks to you for finding the largest local seller of industrial water. It will be decided in a few days. You can come and enter the commendation for bravery. Now go home first. Jing's father and Jingshu just picked up Jing's mother, who was off work, and went home together. It was obviously daytime, but the streetlights in Wucheng were dazzling. The huge LED TVs on the high-rise buildings showed off their light shows, making the whole Wucheng a city that never sleeps with lights and bustle, as the last glory before the storm. There was always a snow-clearing cart in the driveway, sweeping the thick soil. Pedestrians on the road wore double-layer masks and hats and wore shorts and short sleeves. Although they held umbrellas, each of them still had a layer of dust on their bodies. They held 30 yuan milk tea in their hands, but did not dare to drink it for fear of eating a mouthful of dirt. These are people who are struggling to make a living. The elderly and children dare not go out in such a hot day. On the way, Jing's father said that he didn't know why he was so impulsive recently and always wanted to hit people. Jing's mother nodded in agreement. My tooth is broken. Today I found out that it was Tian Qing, a female colleague, who came with me when selling the house. She deliberately made trouble for me in order to please you, Kai and I. I was so angry that I couldn't control myself and slapped her twice. Jingshu opened her mouth in shock. It turned out that it was her butterfly effect. Yu Kai's anger caused Jing's mother to lose her teeth because of the price increase of the house. She said that it didn't happen in the previous life. Are you okay? Jing's father asked nervously. She also wanted to scratch me, so I gently pushed her. She deliberately hit the wall hard, hitting her head with blood all over and sewing 7 stitches. She was really cruel to herself. I was punished and my bonus was deducted, and I had to write a self-criticism. It's so mad. Baozi's mother was wronged. I'm glad you're okay. Jing's father pulled Baozi's mother's hand while driving, ignoring the accident in the back seat. Jingshu's mouth twitched. Her mother might not realize how strong she was now. She might not have hit him on purpose. Look at how Lingquan turned the gentle old hen into a fierce fighting chicken and the Christian carp into a fighting piranha. She made her family use force to solve problems. Maybe this is the disadvantage of Lingquan? Jingshu thought it was not bad to be able to arouse Baozi's anger. It was already 6:30 when she got home. Jingshu added water to the rice from lunch and cooked porridge over high heat. She chopped the marinated tenderloin and poured boiling water to remove the foam and fishy smell. She chopped the preserved egg. When the porridge was ready, she added the tenderloin and preserved egg and stirred them. She added oil and salt and sprinkled chopped green onions. The delicious and stomach-nourishing preserved egg and lean meat porridge was served. The side dishes were cold mixed enoki mushrooms and cold-cut tendon meat. It was 7 o'clock and the family was watching TV and eating dinner. The current situation was not good. The continuous high temperature not only killed a large number of livestock, but also caused great damage to crops. Most of the vegetables and fruits that were about to mature and half-mature were directly burned to death, causing the price of vegetables and fruits to rise 3 times again. It was originally estimated that the crop yield would decrease for a month during the dark days. Now, except for greenhouses with temperature control, there will be no harvest for the next quarter. Another person
died.
A few hours ago, he was still a living being, scrambling for water in the group, but now he has become a corpse. An atmosphere of panic spread in the group. Several people were asking what was going on and how it could be serious to the point of death. At the same time, everyone cursed the supermarket owner, Mr. Bai. Wang Xuemei Building 2. At Supermarket Boss Bai, you knew it was industrial water, but still sold it to us at a high price. What are you thinking? How can people like you who make money in a dirty way just die? Young lady, I have a baby number 13. Fortunately, I didn't ask for water today. The chickens, ducks, and pigs outside are all dead. The water is all industrial water. Vegetables are sold at dozens of times the price. It's hot during the day and cold at night. When will the dark day end? Win number 3. Fortunately, I only drank a few sips and quickly washed my stomach. At Supermarket Boss Bai, pay me back. Wang Chichi number 13. At everyone, neighbors who bought water must not drink it. Today I want to thank at Xiaoshu Villa District for reminding everyone, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. Luxury car store number 5. If we had known that it was industrial water at Xiaoshu Villa District, why didn't you stop us from buying it? What's the point of reminding? It's useless. I'm just poisoned by heavy metals. The hospital doesn't even have a bed, so I have to get in for drip in the corridor all night tonight. Wang Chichi number 13. Also, don't worry, the supermarket owner has been beaten by Xiaoshu's father at Jing'an Villa District and can't take care of himself. The police station also issued a commendation and confiscated all the supplies in the supermarket. It is expected that a new supermarket will be moved in after the dark day. If you want to buy something, you can only go to Ijia supermarket 7 kilometers away. More and more people have joined the group in the past few days. They are very concerned about this matter. When they heard that there was no supermarket, they complained, such as supermarkets should compensate us for the things in the supermarket if they sell fake water. It's so troublesome to go to Ijia supermarket so far. Whoever forced the boss away should open a supermarket. At this time, Jing's father, who had read the chat records, spoke. Jing'an Villa District. At Halcha Jonmar Hall 5, is the hospital's Wi-Fi still working? Are you at Yuan Hospital? Smile. This smile is still fresh in everyone's memory. At noon, this person asked if the supermarket owner was there, and then the supermarket owner was beaten and couldn't take care of himself. The police also issued a commendation. This person used practical actions to tell everyone in the group, if you can take action, don't talk nonsense. Unlike those who only dare to curse in the group suddenly became quiet. 2 minutes passed and still no one spoke. Jing'an Villa District. At Luxury Car Specialty Store number 5, it's the same hospital as Luo Haoyuan Hospital, right? Smile. Luxury Car Specialty Store number 5. No, it's really not the same hospital. Sorry, I was just making it up before. At Xiaoshu Villa District, I was wrong. Sorry, tell your dad not to be impulsive. Jingshu sneered after reading it and replied, "It's a favor to help you, but it's my duty not to help you. Don't be so frivolous here, or my dad will punish you." Luxury car specialty store number 5 typed frantically, "I bought a watch last year. I'll kill you. Who's afraid of who little framesy," and then quickly deleted it, typed a row and deleted it again, and finally said, Sorry. Sales and customer service have this problem after doing it for a long time. They can't scold people they can't afford to offend, so they can only scold them once and don't send it out, but luxury car specialty store number 5 didn't know that. Once he scolded Jingshu and accidentally sent it out, and then sent it to the other side. "It turns out that my dad is so useful it feels so good. Scare him." Jing's father smiled innocently. It seems that Baozi's father and mother in this life are really changing a little bit. Although Jingshu is very busy during this period, she still inspects the little cuties in the space every night and practices the 6th order Rubik's Cube. The improvement of her physical fitness has made her master the Rubik's Cube even better. At the same time, there is a new discovery. That is, the 12 fields of the 5th order Rubik's Cube still consume 1 drop of spiritual spring every day, while the space's own production of 20 drops of spiritual spring per day has increased to 26 drops, which makes Jingshu very excited. She has never dared to consume excessively before, but now Jingshu finally lets go a little. Now Jingshu feeds livestock, feeds her family, feeds fish and shrimp, feeds bees, etc., and basically consumes 5 drops of spiritual spring every day. Jingshu is going to feed the fighting chicken number 1 spiritual spring again. During this period, number 1 has performed very well. It does not go west when you tell it to go east. It is very human and aggressive. Jingshu wants to try to train a real fighting chicken. In the future, when others release dogs, she will release chickens. It can peck people with martial arts and lay eggs with literary skills. It is a good chicken. The vegetables and fruits newly planted in the magic cube space are ripe. Jingshu transplanted some tomatoes, eggplants, and baby cabbages to the greenhouse and vegetable garden, saying that they were bought at high prices outside. Now the price of vegetables has soared, and there is a shortage of supply. Those who have yards have planted some of them, but they have been wilted by the high temperature. Mushroom cultivation at home has been very popular recently. Garlic is placed in the living room, and plates of them occupy Jing's father's entire bookshelf. Peel the garlic and put it on a plate, and add some Lingquan dilution water. In a few days, garlic sprouts will grow. Eat 1 crop, and another crop will grow. A plate of garlic is definitely a high-end gift after the end of the world. Jingshu has to prepare it in advance. In the previous life, Jing's mother was removed at a critical moment, which led to Jingshu's family not entering the system. In this life, Jingshu is ready to help Baozi's mother move up the level. Then she replanted pumpkins, soybeans, potatoes, which are easy to preserve, and prepare to store them in the basement. Occasionally, she will make pumpkin porridge and French fries. The main crop is soybeans. In the end times, it is really a good thing. It can be used to refine oil, and the residue can be used to make steamed cakes. It can be used to make soy milk, bean curd, tofu, bean curd, hairy tofu, etc. with a grinding wheel. It can also be made into various bean sprouts. In the end times, if you want to do something when 2 people shake hands, you can secretly pass a handful of fresh soybeans over, and the person on the other side will definitely show a tacit smile. In fact, Jingshu is going to use half of the soybeans to make crispy soybeans. After frying, they are crispy and fragrant. When you have nothing to do, put a handful in your mouth and chew slowly as a snack. Usually put it in fried rice noodles, hot pot ingredients, yangchun noodles, and sour beans as a side dish. Take a bite of crispy soybeans and a bite of sour beans. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Jingshu's saliva is coming down again. As for fruits, Jingshu focuses on planting watermelons and oranges, and also planted lemon trees. After more than half a month of waiting, they are finally ripe. In the 4th level Rubik's Cube space, the bees produced 100 kilograms of honey. After upgrading to the 5th level, the production has doubled. Now, a total of 2L of royal jelly and 400 kilograms of honey have been harvested, which is equivalent to twice the annual production of ordinary honey. This is also the result of the limited black field planting in the Rubik's Cube space. Otherwise, the production would be higher. It sounds like a lot, but it is actually only 1/5 of 1 cubic meter of space. After waiting for the lemons to ripen, Jingshu washed the lemons, cut them into slices, soaked them in honey, and refrigerated them in the refrigerator for 3 days. After receiving them in the space, she finally filled the space with ice water. 1 cubic meter of frozen lemon honey water is ready. In this doomsday with the scorching sun, how about a glass of iced lemon honey water? As for good stuff like royal jelly, naturally, I would get up early in the morning and scoop a small spoonful of it into warm water. The whole family would drink a cup. It has many benefits for beauty and moisturizing the lungs. In the end times without sunlight, it can also supplement various vitamins and nutrients. The black pigs, sheep, and calves in the magic cube space have grown up after being fed normally. Compared with the previous speed of maturing in 1 month, they have saved a lot of food and spiritual springs, but they are also faster than normal pigs and sheep. Jingshu estimates that they will mature in half a year. Jingshu raised more quails and planned to make a lot of roasted quails and roasted quail eggs in the space as midnight snacks. Her appetite has grown again recently. Jingshu only kept a little chicken, duck, and rabbit, but it was still very effective in diluting the spiritual springs. In addition to the more than 20 eggs laid by number 1 every day, Jingshu could also receive more than 20 eggs, 7 or 8 duck eggs, and more than 100 quail eggs. After all, it was better than the chickens and ducks raised in the villa. The eggs saved these days allowed Jingshu and her father to successfully make a large number of preserved eggs, and also gave Jingshu a reason to buy a lot of lime to prepare for other things. On January 18th, Jingshu's community suddenly lost power. The entire Wucheng had been overloaded for more than 10 days. Not only did they have to provide electricity for households at night, but they also had to provide air conditioners, electric lights, street lights, etc. for various companies during the day. Finally, they couldn't bear it. The most important thing is the 24-hour air conditioning electricity consumption. According to statistics, the national average power consumption is 5 times the usual. Usually, people are reluctant to turn on the air conditioner, especially in some places where the charge will be doubled if the electricity exceeds the household electricity consumption, but they have used electricity without scruples for half a month, and the result is that there is no electricity supply. Wucheng also took emergency measures and distributed diesel to allow enterprises in each community to generate electricity on their own. Wang Qiqi number 13. At everyone, the community's supporting services are not up to par at the moment, and there is no generator. If you can't stand the high temperature, share a car in the basement, turn on the air conditioner, and wait for the call. I can still seat 2 people in my car. The temperature in Wucheng is still as high as 49 degrees Celsius. More than half of the office workers and business owners in Jingshu's community have closed their shops and are resting at home. At this moment, the power outage is less than half an hour, and the house is like a steamer. At this time, people still can't stand the heat and can't drink muddy water, but they still survived later. Jingshu lay in the villa with a constant temperature of 26 degrees Celsius, eating Haagen-Dazs ice cream and thinking irresponsibly. Some people in the community went back to their natal family, in-laws, relatives, and some people went to their cars to turn on the air conditioner and wait for the call. During this period, Wang Qiqi actually pulled more than a dozen people into the group. This community that can accommodate tens of thousands of people currently has only more than 100 people living there. No wonder restaurants dare not open here. However, within a year, this place will become one of the most popular new urban areas in Wucheng. By then, countless homeless people will flock in, and every parking space in the basement and underground garage can be divided into a place for a family to live. In the 5th year of her previous life, Jingshu's family traded their prime villa for food. The family lived in basements, cage rooms, etc. Later, they moved many times due to various disasters. That was a nightmare. Jingshu didn't even want to think about it anymore. Today, Jing's father sent Jing's grandmother 3 bags of mushrooms and 2 plates of garlic sprouts to keep, some eggs, Chinese cabbage, and Lingquan diluted tortoise jelly for the old man. I heard that it is very difficult to buy vegetables in the city. The price of a wilted cabbage has risen to 50 yuan. Other green vegetables and vegetables that are not in season are no longer available. There are only various mushrooms, leeks, bean sprouts, which are grown indoors and do not need sunlight. The prices of dry goods and seafood markets have also doubled. Because the prices are more expensive than vegetables, not many people buy them. They all want to hold on until the end of the dark day before buying. Jing's grandmother will stay in the city for a few days to queue up to buy medicine. The old couple are in good spirits. In order to cause adverse consequences, all places have limited purchases. Moreover, they heard that the current medicine could not be replenished for half a year, so the old couple hurriedly went to buy medicine every day with their third Aunt Jinglai. Jiangshu pills, vitamins, Huaxiang Jingqi water, etc. were all sold out, including Jingnai. Even though Jingshu told her that she had bought a lot, Jingnai still had to buy more. Jingnai was also an insecure person. After experiencing the famine, she had to stock up on everything. But even though she used to favor boys over girls, was stingy and reluctant to spend money on her own food and clothing, and had to bargain when buying vegetables, she was really good to Jingshu. She was the most partial to her since she was a child and gave Jingshu all the good things. So the filial piety that she didn't have time to fulfill in her previous life, Jingshu came to do it in this life, and Jingnai could do whatever she wanted. At 7 o'clock in the evening, Jingshu and her family sat in front of the TV, watching TV and eating dinner. They had 3 steamed sea bass, a bowl of steamed eggs with caviar, a large pot of curry potato beef brisket rice, and tomato egg soup. No matter how much they made, Jingshu would clean up the residue and not even leave a drop of oil. People who have lived for 10 years in the end times eat so cleanly. You don't want to learn the good things, but you learn to sweep the dishes like your dad. Jing's mother pointed at Jingshu with her hand. Who will dare to marry you with such an appetite and eating manner? Jing's father lied innocently. Yes, the bad things are all learned from me, and the good things are all inherited from you. That's right, look at my daughter's solar power generation and circulating filtered water. It's good. Other people have power outages and can only eat cold instant noodles for dinner, but we can still enjoy a hearty dinner with air conditioning. Before that, you said that they were a spendthrift. Jing's father muttered in a low voice. The whole Wuqing is still without power, either using backup power or generator power, while the places in the south with a large population and insufficient power supply have already used diesel power generation. Jingshu knows that it will not be long before she will face the embarrassing situation of having a car but no oil, because gasoline is an important material and has more important uses, so the supply of private cars has been temporarily stopped. Including natural gas and other energy sources, Jingshu will start to cook the food after this period of busy work to save some coal. It was completely dark, and the temperature in Wuqing dropped to 4 degrees Celsius. Everyone in the community went home, only to find in horror that there was no muddy water. Zhang Bingbing number 4. At everyone, I don't have any water at home. Can anyone give me a few bottles of mineral water? Thank you. No one spoke. After a while, Zhang Bingbing number 4 said again, I'll buy 2 bottles of mineral water at a high price. Still no one paid attention to her. Zhang Bingbing got angry. They are all a bunch of neighbors who don't help when they see someone in trouble. The Annies who took my car in the afternoon said that they would shout in the group if they had any difficulties. I burned all the gas to turn on the air conditioner. Now I have no gas and can't go out to buy water. No one is willing to help me buy 2 bottles of water at a high price. At this time, Wang Qiqi came out. At everyone, I have inquired about the news. If there is no water tomorrow, the community water truck will come to deliver water at 1400 hours. Remind everyone to fill up the water when the water comes. Anyone who has extra water can help Zhang Bingbing. Wang Suihua sent a voice message on the 4th. This girl's words are so rude. When I was riding in your car today, I said that I would shout in the group if I had any difficulties. But who has mineral water now? My family collects muddy water, lets the water settle, and then keeps changing the water. If you don't mind, I can bring you a basin of muddy water that hasn't been changed yet. Li Wei on the 21st. Auntie, can you bring me a basin too? Wang Suihua sent a voice message saying, I only bring water to my grandson. Li Wei never spoke again. Zhang Bingbing went to get the water herself. The old lady's fighting power is sometimes amazing. Anyway, even if Zhang Bingbing's problem was solved, Jingshu's family was happy to see it. Where there are people, there are rivers and lakes, and there are right and wrong. Although people in the early days of the end of the world still have some conscience, they still expose their human nature. Just like Jingshu, she would not give away a pool of water. Water is stored by ability. Why should she give it to others? Jingshu has kept the water storage tank full every day these days. After several filtrations, the muddy water is the same as purified water and can be used as usual. The difficulty is the upcoming one-year water outage problem. I don't like Wang Qiqi, this guy. He is too smooth. Jing's mother interrupted. What if you like him? Jing's father said with a serious face, and then the building tilted. The topic was off, and the two of them returned to their bedrooms without knowing why. Jingshu. Aren't you talking about the water problem? Forget it, just be happy. After inspecting the Rubik's Cube space at night, Jingshu ate 2 plates of spicy rabbit cubes, 3 steaks, and a bowl of shaved ice yogurt as a midnight snack, and then began to practice the 6th-order Rubik's Cube. It was more than one level more difficult than the 5th-order Rubik's Cube. Jingshu had practiced for more than half a month, but could only complete it. It was still a long way from completing it quickly. Jingshu wanted to upgrade before moving to the villa. At least a 6th-order Rubik's Cube of 216 cubic meters or a 7th-order Rubik's Cube of 343 cubic meters was needed to take away all the supplies in the villa. The bed and other things had to be taken with her. It didn't matter if she had no chance to use them. She didn't want to get up the next day and be bitten by all kinds of insects and crawling corpses. The morning news reported that despite the policy of catching fish in advance to prevent a large number of freshwater fish from dying in the lake, the high temperature and soil caused the riverbed to rise for 20 consecutive days, and finally many freshwater fish died in large numbers. The high temperature caused the dead fish to float and rot, polluting a large area of water sources. Local governments have been catching fish corpses 24 hours a day to remedy the polluted water sources. 70% of the water on the earth is not drinkable. With the extremely scarce freshwater resources, the water resources in rivers have been polluted again. China now only has water from deep lakes and reservoirs that can be drunk, but with high temperatures and continuous rainfall, the amount of freshwater resources will gradually decrease. The water will only become less and less. It is foreseeable that there will be no water supply in the next year. Jingshu's community received a call, but there was still no water. The hypocritical people no longer clamored for mineral water and quietly settled the muddy water themselves. Wang Qiqi forwarded the news content to the group, reminding everyone to save water. Now the water resources in various parts of the country have been polluted, and water use must be tight. The situation is quite serious. At 2 p.m., the water truck came, and each family was only given 3 buckets of turbid water. This was water that had been filtered several times, which was relatively good. Compared with only 500 milliliters of water per person per day a few months later, it was like heaven and hell. Jingshu didn't expect that getting water could cause trouble. Wang Qiqi number 13. At everyone, those who haven't received water, hurry up. Once the people in line have received their water, the water truck will leave. Now the water truck comes every 2 days, and the water will come all the time. Everyone panicked when they heard that they didn't know when the water would be cut off and the water truck would only come every 2 days. Security guard Xiao Wang. At this villa in Jing'an Villa District has not been registered yet. Jing's father happened to go out today to buy more cigarettes and alcohol. Jing's mother said that her colleagues have started to secretly hoard various grains. The documents above said that due to the high temperature, countless losses have been suffered. Even after the dark day, no grain can be grown. The country plans to not produce byproducts in the next 2 years, including cigarettes, alcohol, and snacks. The higher authorities also issued a document changing the purchase limit of grain from 500 yuan to 200 yuan. The total amount of spending per person in large supermarkets on the same day should not exceed 500 yuan, so that people who knew in advance that the country was going to reduce the sale of grain could not buy much. Of course, Scalpers and private supermarkets are not counted. Jing's father, who is a smoker and drinker, went out to buy cigarettes and alcohol today. Fortunately, there is no purchase limit on cigarettes and alcohol. Jingshu didn't want to go to get water by herself, but she was named. She didn't want to give everyone the impression that her family was not short of water, so she responded in the group and took 3 buckets to get water. Wuching has already begun to restrict water use. It is reported that the largest freshwater lake in Wuching has also been polluted. The water truck was at the entrance of the community. Jingshu put on a mask, windbreaker, and rain boots and ran for 3 minutes to get there. The street lights in the community were all off, leaving only the lights at the door. Under the lights, there were countless black flying insects the size of red dates, which kept making noises and swooping down on people, causing the woman who was collecting water to scream. Jingshu knew that it would not be long before all kinds of flying insects would proliferate and spread diseases, and a group of people would die of the disease. People who came to get water came one by one. After Jingshu registered, she looked at the people in line. They were all dusty and haggard, and their chapped lips showed that there was not much water left at home. At this time, a woman in flowery clothes said, "My girl, it's hard for you to carry 1 bucket by yourself. Give me the rest. There are many people in my family, and we don't have enough water." The uncle next to her immediately said, "Beautiful girl, give me the rest, and I'll give you 50 yuan. Someone else said, "Just give us some. You can't carry it all by yourself. You people are very bad. You want water without paying. Miss, I will push the cart to take it back for you. How about giving me 2 buckets? Anyway, you can't take it back by yourself." Another fat man who was pushing a truck laughed. The water truck only came once every 2 days. Everyone felt that there was too little water. Mineral water could not be bought in the supermarket outside, and muddy water suddenly became precious. Jingshu rolled her eyes. "Why don't you help me carry it back if I can't? You're very active in getting water." "That's right." Fatty followed suit. "Can't you just take it all back for me?"
Jingshu asked the fat man.
"Who is willing to deliver it to someone in such a hot day? Give me 100 yuan and I'll do it for you."
The fat man said.
Jingshu refused to share the water with everyone. The people in front got the water and waited to see how this little girl would take it back, and then they were dumbfounded. Jingshu carried 2 in one hand and 1 in the other, and walked away easily. Those who wanted to get some water carried the water in confusion. Didn't everyone get the same truck of water? Indifference and cold-eyed observation are Jingshu's evaluation of human nature after the end of the world. Now, it has slowly begun to show. People bought it because they couldn't afford it before, but they can afford it now. There are good people, and there are always selfless and selfless people who have kept the country from collapsing after the end of the world. It's good enough for ordinary people to be alive after the end of the world. 2 days later, the temperature in Wuching returned to 43 degrees Celsius, and many companies started work again. Considering safety issues, all schools have started their winter vacation in advance, and only senior high school students are still in class. But now everyone is facing an embarrassing problem. The car can't be refueled, the bus and subway can't be squeezed, and although the price of taxis has tripled, it's still impossible to share a ride. There are fewer cars on the streets of the whole Wuching. The basis for people to be willing to pay a high price to take a ride to work is based on, the darkness will soon pass, everything will be restored, just bear with it. Gas and oil are now only provided to public buses, special lines, buses, taxis, and other public vehicles until the end of darkness. If the darkness does not end, then the benefits of energy electric vehicles will be revealed. Find a place to charge, and a full charge can be used for 2 or 3 days. There is no need to queue up in the scorching sun and eat dirt. You can't get on the bus even if you wait for half an hour. Many energy vehicles have started to run Didi, and you can earn 200 or 300 yuan per trip. Those who have money will buy energy vehicles directly, and those who have no money can only wait for the end of darkness, because the price of energy vehicles has risen too much now, which is in line with the saying, "I bought energy vehicles before because I couldn't afford it, but now I can't afford energy vehicles." Jing's father drives an energy vehicle to take Jing's mother to work every day. A large group of people passing by waiting for the special line bus at the gate of the community are envious. Their community is very remote. Although every family has a car, they can only choose the special line bus that is temporarily added when they run out of gas. A special line bus costs 30 yuan, and there are 2 round trips a day, and it is not on time. If you miss it, you don't have to go to work. Now, because of weather and traffic problems, the above notice has been issued to reduce working hours by 2 hours. Luxury car dealer number 5. Whose car is that BYD song in the neighborhood? Can I take a ride with it? Wang Dezhao number 1. Same thing. Does the driver of that song drive Didi? Let him drive Didi for our neighborhood. The 7-seater can squeeze 9 people. Jing's father was very excited after reading the news. He has been idle at home for a month and has been looking for something to do. He can make several thousand yuan a day driving Didi. Jingshu rolled her eyes, because in a few months, the money will be useless. Jingshu could only refute. The weather is so hot, and those people haven't showered for 7 or 8 days. There are all kinds of smells. I don't dislike them, but I can't stand the weird and dirty smell of the car. That's right, the foot odor, bad breath, and that smell in the office are so bad that I can't stand it anymore. Leave some clean land for me, Jing's mother said with a headache. In order not to make special arrangements, Jing's mother also didn't wash her hair for 3 days. It would be hard for her to be clean when her boss goes to work with hair mixed with oil and dirt. After the water resources were polluted, Wucheng stopped supplying water to the entire city and only sent water trucks to supply water in limited quantities. If the water is used normally as before, it will not be long before Wucheng will be completely out of water. Wucheng also needs to use the only water to harvest a batch of crops that have not completely died. Even if the darkness ends, it will not change the shortage of water. Supermarkets have stopped supplying mineral water and various beverages. Although the news catches bad guys every day and encourages citizens to report unfair phenomena, mineral water is still divided up by powerful people and stored for life-saving. Ordinary people have no idea how scarce water is. There are 13 districts in Wucheng, and Jing's mother is just an ant in the dust in one of the districts. She can't even get close to it. In her previous life, it was because of Jing's father's coincidence that she got a small amount of mineral water. As a result, our daily water consumption now depends entirely on water trucks that deliver water every 2 days. There is enough water for cooking and drinking, but forget about taking a bath, washing your face, washing clothes, or even washing dishes. When the weather gets hot, you sweat and smell, and you can't even take a bath. Don't be fooled by the current trend of combing your hair back or wearing a hat, as that is extremely dirty, with greasy strands that can only be combed back. Everyone in the group was asking who the BYD song was and whether it could run Didi, etc. Seeing that no one responded, a car owner jumped out. Lu Song did not move in. Mine is an Audi Energy car, but I live in the city, so I can go there. It's 500 yuan per trip. You can share a car and you can squeeze in 6 people. Turn on the air conditioner. Call me if you need it. The teaching police now don't care how many people are squeezed into a car. The places that used to be the most congested are now unobstructed. It is reported that there are only a few 100,000 energy cars running in Wucheng's 4 million private cars. Wang Dazhao number 1. It's expensive. Count me in. Anyway, the dark day will be over in a few days. Luxury car dealer. Count me in too. Soon 6 people were gathered and agreed to set off at 10 o'clock every day, which is much better than waiting for the car at the door at 8 o'clock. The country has really tried its best to provide various resources these days, but the hot weather has increased the consumption of various energy sources and the death of poultry and crops across the country. The United States stopped the supply of crude oil, and the pollution of soil and water resources has led to water shortages across the country. We wanted to hold on to the dark day despite all the difficulties, but on January 24th, it was announced that the whole country would enter a period of energy reduction until the dark day ended. From now on, the power supply time will be changed to 7 to 1500 hours every day, and the power supply will be 8 hours a day to ensure that there is electricity during the hot season so that people will not die of heat and the things in the refrigerator will not be damaged. Be patient. The dark day will soon pass. Everyone believes that the dark day will pass. There is still at least half a year of food in the house, and it doesn't matter if there is a shortage of water and electricity. Just when everyone was dreaming about the end of the dark day, Jingshu was in the villa with the air conditioner on, sweating profusely, cooking 2 pots of spicy hot pot on the gas stove, and eating happily. After the whole pot of beef balls, shrimp dumplings, fish balls, and fish tofu were cooked, they were put into the space while eating, and then put in the cut beef rolls, mutton rolls, various vegetables, fish, shrimp, and meat. When Jingshu was full, all kinds of cooked food filled up the 1 cubic meter space. When the power and gas went out and no one could cook, she took a pot and poured out the hot pot in the space and ate the hot pot directly, saying that it was made with coal. There were only a few tons of coal stored at home, and it was not known whether it could last for 10 years in the apocalypse. Of course, Jingshu had to be thrifty and cook the food in advance and put it in the space. Another advantage is that the aroma of the cooked food will not spread too far. Otherwise, when everyone is short of supplies, you can smell the mushroom-stewed chicken from hundreds of meters away. It's a scene. These days, Jingshu is busy cooking rice every day. She makes 2 boxes of curry into 1 cubic meter of potato curry chicken rice, 1 cubic meter of spicy maochuang, 1 cubic meter of braised black pork chops, 1 cubic meter of ketchup prawns, 1 cubic meter of steamed hairy crabs, 1 cubic meter of fried fish nuggets, and then makes the frozen KFC that was previously wholesaled into finished products, fried chicken nuggets, fried chicken wings, fried chicken legs, kernel chicken nuggets, bone-in meat, chicken strips, popcorn chicken, French fries, etc. occupy 2 cubic meters. Jingshu still loves to drink soup, so she cooked 1 cubic meter of seafood shrimp porridge, 1 cubic meter of carrot, corn, and mutton soup, 1 cubic meter of mushroom stewed chicken soup, 1 cubic meter of pork ribs and lotus root soup, and 1 cubic meter of Crucian carp and tofu soup. Considering the need to save electricity, Jingshu also fried steak and yuching sausage for her midnight snack and filled up 2 cubic meters. Anyway, Jingshu would cook all kinds of delicacies whenever she had time at home, and then store them in the space like a hamster. She was also planning to grind soybeans and make all kinds of tofu when Grandpa Jing and Grandma Jing came. Jing's mother still went to work every day, complaining every day about why the dark day had not ended, as it had been more than 30 days, and asked Jing's father to go to the wholesale market every day to buy some more things. Recently, everyone was anxiously waiting for the end of the dark day, while quietly storing some more food. Forget about vegetables and fruits, the price has risen to hundreds of yuan per caddy, and there is no fresh one. Various water, beverages, and cold drinks have never been put on the shelves again. The various snacks, daily seasonings, grains, oils, and non-staple foods that were on display were also decreasing unnoticed, and it seemed that they had never been replenished. Now the purchase limit for each person is 200 yuan, and you can't buy much. But even a mosquito leg is meat, unless you go to a scalper to buy it at a high price. But since the small supermarket had countless supplies confiscated due to crazy price increases, there have been fewer scalpers. Citizens don't know where the confiscated supplies have been taken. Jingshu knows that when people were almost starving to death, the official forces came to the rescue. Some small shops closed down and stockpiled supplies when they saw that the price increase was not good. The next day, 2 official armed personnel acted as door gods, and the bosses were scared to continue to open the door to sell things. The largest farmers' market in Wucheng, the sale of aquatic non-staple foods, grains, and oils was suspended by the government, and they were all quietly controlled. Jingshu only found out later that the prices of these aquatic non-staple foods were getting more and more outrageous, and the official forces confiscated all the supplies without saying a word. To put it politely, it is called collection. As the dark day did not seem to end at all, the higher-ups became anxious. According to the assumption, the light should be restored slowly in more than 20 days, but it has been like this for so many days. Professionals estimate that it will take at least another month, so the huge machine of official power began to act. Today is the Lantern Festival on February 5th, 2023. The authorities originally planned to move the Spring Festival on January 22nd to February 5th, when the dark day ends, and celebrate the reunion dinner on the Lantern Festival. Who would have thought that the dark day would not end? But in order to stabilize the people's hearts, The Spring Festival Lantern Festival Gala started on time at 2000 hours in the evening. This year, all the hosts wore their original clothes, dirty suits, unshaven beards, skirts of unrecognizable colors, haggard faces, and greasy hair, without makeup or dressing up. I'm sorry, dear audience friends, I haven't taken a bath for half a month. The female host with no makeup still maintained her elegant temperament. What a coincidence, I haven't taken a bath for a month either. The male host took the microphone and started his opening remarks. Today, there is no power outage in various places so that every household can have a reunion dinner and watch the Lantern Festival Gala happily. Jingshu's family of 3 sat at her uncle's house to have a reunion dinner today. This is a custom. They had New Year's Eve at her grandparents' house and the Lantern Festival at her uncle's house. Considering the lack of vegetables, Jingshu's mother brought some dry goods, eggs, tomatoes, bean sprouts, cabbage, garlic sprouts, and bacon, as well as 2 L of Sprite. These things that seemed ordinary at ordinary times have now become hot items. Jingshu's father wanted to bring 2 more fish, but the fish in the pond had bred a new batch. Jingshu fried a lot of crispy fish, and there were still many left. Jingshu was about to refuse, but Jingshu's mother refused first. Okay, this is enough. My sister-in-law knows that we have so many good things, but we don't give them any, and she's whispering in their ears again. Actually, it was Jing's mother, who was a little woman who held a grudge. She still cared about the matter of borrowing money. Jing's father drove, and the family of 3 came to the uncle's house in the afternoon. The uncle's family is located in the old city in the west of the city. There are many people, low buildings, poor environment, and high housing prices. The flood in the 2nd year did not flood here, but in the 3rd year, an earthquake buried the uncle's family of 3 downstairs, and their end was very miserable. In order to prevent Jing's mother from changing back to steamed buns, Jingshu decided to let the uncle's family survive. When Jingshu's family arrived, 2 groups of people had already come to the uncle's house. Oh, since you are here, why do you bring so many things? I'm so embarrassed. At least it's better than some people who eat for free. Aunt Wang Fong opened the door and took over a pile of things from Jing's father. When she saw the green vegetables, tomatoes, cabbage, and bacon, her eyes lit up and she was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. She could finally eat some vegetables during the new year and save some. Come on, come in quickly. This year my elder brother Wang Gang will celebrate the new year with us. This is my sister-in-law Lu Shufan, whom you know. This is their daughter Wang Can, who is 25 years old, and my brother has made her a small leader. My aunt felt a little inappropriate right after she finished showing off. In order to celebrate the new year, my aunt's family specially cleaned up. They wiped their bodies with water, washed their faces, and changed into clean clothes, but they didn't want to wash their hair. Who would have thought that Jingshu's family was clean except for some dust that had just fallen? Their hair was not greasy at all, and they also exuded the smell of Blue Moon brand laundry detergent. Looking at my own family, no matter how they dressed, they felt rustic. Jingshu's family walked in and greeted her aunt's elder brother's family. The 3-bedroom and 2-living-room house of the eldest uncle was decorated by Jing's father in the past. Now it is much more dilapidated, and there is an indescribable odor. Large and small jars are filled with water, and a freezer is stuffed into the small bedroom. Through the glass, I can see that there is still half a refrigerator of frozen meat inside. Only the kitchen light, the TV in the living room, and the air conditioner were on, so the light was a bit dim. Now each household has a quota for electricity consumption, and if it exceeds the quota, the power will be cut off. Sprite. Sister Jing, you can still get 2 liters of Sprite now, that's awesome. Su Long saw Jingshu holding a drink in her hand and rushed up with a hungry wolf-like light in his eyes to take it away. Su Long is his uncle's late-born son. He wears glasses at the age of 17. He has loved snacks since he was a child, so he is short and thin. It was this naughty child who insisted on going home to live during the earthquake and caused the death of their family. Jingshu put a finger on Su Long's forehead. We all drink it together at dinner, and you are not allowed to drink it now. In fact, Jingshu didn't want to take the Sprite because Sprite is versatile. Sprite with lemon, Sprite with sour plum juice, and milk have unique and stimulating flavors. Tisk, what's so great about it? Zhang Henin hugged Wang Can's arm and looked at Jingshu with hatred and whispered something to Wang Can. They didn't feel hot, and in order to save electricity, the air conditioner was only turned on to 28 degrees Celsius, while it was 47 degrees Celsius outside. Zhang Henin is the daughter of my Aunt Su Mimi. Today, she wore a red dress, a bun, and put on makeup. She also sprayed some perfume to cover up the smell on her body. Jingshu always felt that the people in the art college all looked like internet celebrities after dressing up. She also liked to dress like this in her previous life, more than 10 years ago. My Aunt Su Mimi and my Uncle Zhang Zhongyong are both here. Didn't these two have a falling out? Is my uncle going to put my aunt in a pig cage? Jingshu looked at Su Mimi, who was sitting in the corner in a messy state with messy hair. The wounds on her face had healed, but it was obvious that she had not taken a bath for a long time. Her clothes were dirty and stained with oil. Su Mimi looked up and met Jingshu's eyes. Her eyes could not hide the overwhelming hatred. When she faced Jingma, her eyes immediately became misty and she shouted aggrievedly, "Sister, you are here." Zhang Zhongyong's image was much better. He stood up and shouted unnaturally, "Sister, brother-in-law." Jingma nodded lightly and said nothing. She moved a chair and sat with Jingshu to watch TV. Jing's father carefully sat on only 1/3 of the sofa and did not dare to talk to Su Mimi's family. In the previous life, their family also came to the aunt's house to celebrate the Lantern Festival. At that time, Zhang Henin was still excitedly hugging Jingshu and crying, "I miss you so much," and so on, leaving Wang Can aside. Aunt and Jing's mother also sat together and chatted enthusiastically. Everything has changed in this life. There were fried dough twists, melon seeds, and sugar on the coffee table. Su Long poured tea attentively. The aunt and uncle were in the kitchen making a belated group meal. Wang Gang and Jing's father chatted casually. Lu Shufang was eating melon seeds like in the previous life. Yes, it was she who framed my mom and caused the breakdown of my parents' relationship. Her family is nothing but poor people. They look glamorous on the surface, but her parents sold their house and car for her live streaming and even borrowed money from everywhere. I heard that they spent millions to hire internet trolls to promote her, but she still didn't become popular. Now they live in the mountains 30 kilometers away. I don't know how her family managed to get through that place where no one lives. I'm not the same as her. I'm going to take an acting job next year. She's the type who can't even become a web celebrity. Look at her weird outfit and the rain boots she wears. It's so funny. Jingshu heard Zhang Henin's slander against her clearly and felt inexplicably annoyed. She hated it most when someone said bad things about her behind her back. Either don't say it or don't let her hear it. She smiled and pointed at her openly, while muttering to herself. She looked like she was saying, "I'm saying bad things about you, come on and hit me." Jingshu had the urge to slap her in the face and added a line. "What's the matter? What makes you think you can ignore me?" After a long time of busy work, dinner was ready. After 7 o'clock, the temperature quickly dropped to 6 degrees Celsius. The air conditioner was turned off, and everyone put on heavy coats and pants. The uncle moved the dining table to the living room, ready to eat dinner, while watching the Lantern Festival Gala. Jingshu's family is always kept at a constant temperature of 26 degrees Celsius, so she didn't bring any clothes when she came. Jingshu's mother was a little embarrassed. Lu Shufang and Su Mimi's families both brought thick clothes. "I'll get you 2 clothes." The uncle said first. "No need, big brother, it's not too cold. It will warm up after eating." Jingshu's mother looked at their clothes and saw that they were stained with unknown oil stains and various body odors, which must have not been washed for more than a month, and quickly refused. In the previous life, they were not so hypocritical. They were all spoiled, Jingshu thought, but she was happy to spoil her own mother. In addition to the dry goods brought by Jing's mother, such as stir-fried meat with black fungus, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, bacon with garlic sprouts, stir-fried bean sprouts, and cabbage stewed with vermicelli, the New Year's Eve dinner and the reunion dinner also included braised spare ribs, braised fish without onions, ginger and garlic, stir-fried mushrooms, scrambled eggs with chives, and a pot of quick-frozen glutinous rice balls prepared by the uncle. Jing Shu poured a paper cup of Sprite for each person, and the 2L Sprite was almost empty. The last bit was snatched away by Su Long and hidden. For the group who had not had a good meal for a month, the reunion dinner was simply too sumptuous. The uncle raised his glass and said, "We are not treating you well today. When the dark day is over, we will make up for it with another one. Let's put aside all grudges and eat well first." He looked at Su Mimi and Jing's mother meaningfully. Everyone at the table clinked their paper cups together and officially started the meal. The difference can be seen quickly at the dinner table. The dishes brought by Jingshu's family are the most popular and were finished in a short while. The dishes of the uncle's family were not touched. "Old Jing, where did your family get the dishes? I will exchange some for you with mineral water." Wang Gang looked at the empty plate with a reluctant look. Jing's father smiled and refused. "We planted some in the house, but it's not enough to eat." The aunt patted Jing's father and pointed upwards. "My eldest brother has inside information that the dark day will be at least 1 month away. Water is so scarce and mineral water is not easy to get. Only my eldest brother can get it. Are you really not going to exchange some?" Jing's father thought to himself that my prodigal daughter stored for pools of water, and I didn't show off. Seeing Jing's mother with a bad face, he immediately shook his head. "It's not that I won't exchange it, it's really gone." Aunt Wang Fong began to praise Wang Can. He was able to get the position of a clerk at such a young age. What will happen in a few years? Is he going to follow the same political line as her father? Wang Fong usually doesn't praise others. If she praises others, it means she has something to ask of them. Sure enough, she began to ask Wang Gang to distribute some water. The plot is completely opposite to the previous life. In the previous life, the aunt praised Jing Shu to the sky and asked Jing's mother to distribute water. The aunt also got some water. Jing's father gave 200 bottles to each of their 2 families, which led to insufficient water for her family in the later period. In this life, Wang Gang gave 60 bottles of water, which made Wang Fong grateful and remember it for the rest of her life. Finally, the uncle proposed to give 10 bottles to Jing's mother and aunt each. The aunt gave a killing look, and the uncle changed his words to 5 bottles. "My Su Long has diarrhea when he drinks muddy water. I'm sorry, everyone. I can only give you 5 bottles for emergency use." Wang Fong said, "Relatives who are willing to share 1/6 of the water are qualified in the end times. Such people are smart." After the meal, everyone didn't even watch the Lantern Festival Gala, and the uncle started talking. "Okay, the meal is over, let's talk about business. Zhongyong, what's wrong with you? Not only did you find a woman outside, but you also have a 10-year-old illegitimate child." This remark shocked everyone at the table, including Jing's mother and father. Wang Gang also showed an expression. "You are so good. We all know about Mimi and Sun Inrue. It's her fault, but she has only been with Sun Inrue for a short time. This is at most an improper relationship, but what about you? How many years have you been with the woman outside? At least more than 10 years, right? And you have a child." The uncle knocked on the table. "As a civil servant, do you know how serious it is to make such a mistake? Bigamy. And it's a crime on top of a crime." Jingshu showed an expression of sudden enlightenment. No wonder she could see Sun Mimi and Zhang Zhongyong having dinner together today. It turned out that Zhang Zhongyong's handle was caught. The barefoot are not afraid of the ones wearing shoes. Su Mimi is barefoot and Zhang Zhongyong is wearing shoes. In the previous life, Zhang Zhongyong's affair was exposed 2 years later. At that time, Zhang Zhongyong was not afraid of anything and had a bright future. In this life, it was exposed so early. Was it because Jing's mother sold the BMW to Su Mimi, but Su Mimi didn't drive the BMW, so she suspected that Zhang Zhongyong had someone else outside and sent a private detective to find evidence and expose it? It's really a big effect that a small butterfly can fan out. Jingshu didn't expect there would be such an unexpected surprise.